Most millionaires want to be completely invisible. They're probably sitting right next to you and you have no idea. They don't look rich, they don't flex, they don't even talk about money. Meanwhile, the people trying to look rich usually aren't. Real wealth doesn't need attention, and that's why most people completely miss it. In my opinion, there are 7 foolproof ways to tell when someone is secretly wealthy. So if you know what to look for, maybe you'll start to spot them. And more importantly, I truly believe recognizing these signs could be the steps you need towards building these habits and building real wealth yourself. So with that being said, the first sign that someone is secretly wealthy is simple. They don't talk about money. They're not bringing up their salary, they're not bringing up bonuses, and they're not even talking about what they're investing in. And it's not because they can't talk about it, it's because they don't feel the need to. People who are truly comfortable financially don't need validation. They don't need reactions, they don't need to prove anything to anyone. But if money does come up, they usually stay vague and change the subject. They may try to keep the topic surface level or even avoid the topic at all. While on the flip side, the people who are constantly talking about money, how much they make, what they just bought, or how expensive things are usually trying to look like they have wealth rather than be the ones who are trying to build it. When someone actually has money, they don't feel the need to announce it. Silence is confidence, and confidence comes from security. The second sign that someone is secretly wealthy is that they live below their means. Even when their income goes up, their lifestyle doesn't change much. No constant upgrades, no pressure to keep up with others. They could afford to choose more, but they choose not to. And this is where most people get it wrong. Imagine someone making a really solid income who's still driving a normal car. They're still living in a reasonable place, and they're not upgrading every single time they get a raise. To most people, they look average. Nothing flashy, nothing stands out. But behind the scenes is where the magic happens. They're saving consistently, investing quietly, and building real security. Now compare that to someone who upgrades their car, their clothes, their house every single time they get a raise. On the outside, they look rich. It looks impressive. But behind the scenes, they're usually stretched pretty thin. More payments to worry about, more pressure, more stress. Wealthy people understand that lifestyle inflation is the biggest threat to building real wealth. They know that every upgrade feels small in the moment, but it builds up over time. They're not just trying to win today. They're not just trying to chase appearance. They're playing the long game, and that's why their lifestyle usually looks super normal, especially when you account for the fact of how much money they actually have. The third sign someone is secretly wealthy is a super telltale sign. It's how they react when something goes wrong financially. When an unexpected bill comes up, a medical expense, something breaking, they don't panic. The calm isn't confidence or luck, it's preparation. They've already planned for things to go wrong. They have emergency savings and they have margin in their finances. So when life happens, it's inconvenience, not catastrophic. Compare that to somebody living paycheck to paycheck. One unexpected expense turns into stress, anxiety, and panic. Not because they're irresponsible, but because there's no buffer. They never even gave themselves a chance. Wealthy people, on the other hand, give themselves a buffer. They understand that emergencies aren't a rare thing. They're normal, and planning for them is a part of life. And that's why they're able to stay calm when things go wrong. It's not because nothing ever happens to them, it's the exact opposite. They expect these things to happen to them. But the key difference is, they're ready when these things do happen. The fourth sign that someone is secretly wealthy that could also be a trap is that they spend money on things that the average person wouldn't think twice about. And that's buying back their time. They value their time more than their status. They're not trying to impress strangers. They don't care if they look successful or not. Wealthy people realize that the one thing you can't get back in life and in this world is time. So they're willing to spend more money to buy back their time. Now, this is where it's a trap. Some people will do the same things that the wealthy people are doing. That might mean on a day-to-day basis, they're spending money on a chef to take care of their shopping and their cooking. And when it comes to travel, that might mean that they're flying private to avoid delays and waits. And sometimes it's even small things. Yard work, cleaning, and household chores. This gives them more time to focus on their families and their work, the things that truly matter. And the reason I say this could be a trap is because some people could be doing it for the wrong reason. You shouldn't be buying back your time and spending more money on these things to post it on social media and flex to others. The extra time you could save doesn't mean you spend it on TikTok or Twitter. And that's why to most people on the outside, it looks unnecessary to be buying these things. But to them, it's intentional. They're focused on freedom, control of their day, and peace of mind. And that's why they pick time savers over luxury cars and clothes. And since they're not flexing it on social media, their life might look boring because saving time means more to them than looking impressive. The fifth and my favorite sign that someone is secretly wealthy is patience. They don't rush to buy things the second they become popular. They don't feel the pressure to go buy things because everyone else owns them. Instead, they wait. This could mean waiting for the right time to buy something small, like holding off until an item goes on sale, or it could mean something big, like delaying a car purchase until the numbers actually make sense. And in some cases, the extra time gives them space to realize that the purchase didn't even make sense in the first place. They're not impulsive with their money. Wealthy people understand delayed gratification. They're willing to wait today so they don't regret it tomorrow. While most people buy based on emotion and hype, they buy based on timing and value, making sure what they're buying is actually worth it. And that patience adds up over time, because every rushed decision costs more than just money. It costs progress. They're not afraid to wait. They're comfortable being early to wealth and late to trends. The sixth sign that someone is secretly wealthy is one that we could all apply to our lives today. And that's driving a car that actually makes sense for our budget. And the first key to that is buying a car that's already gone through most of its depreciation. In the first 4 years of a brand new car's life, it loses 40 to 50% of its value. So that means $100,000 4 years ago has turned into $50,000 and a headache. So instead of buying a brand new car, they let someone else take the hit. And more importantly, the car is paid off. They don't do monthly payments hanging over their head every month. They're not driving Lambos or Bugattis, even though they probably could get one, because they know they'd be throwing their money into a depreciating asset. They understand what cars really are: expenses, not investments. Instead of spending $600 to $700 a month on a car payment, they'd much rather put that money into investments. Even the average person like you and I could get that return if we invested into the right ETFs. If you wanted more information on that, you could click this video right over here. With a 10% annual return, that $600 to $700 a month could turn into upwards of $100,000 in 5 to 10 years. And with the average car loan in 2026 being 5 to 6 years, it's very likely you could turn your money into a fortune. But unfortunately, to most people, that doesn't sound fun. It's not as exciting as all your friends seeing your new car, posting it on social media. But to them, it's obvious, because they'd rather put their money into something that grows rather than something that loses its money as soon as you get it. The seventh sign that someone is secretly wealthy, and in my opinion the most important, is that they are aware of their image. They understand that money could change the way that people see you and treat you. They know that it's human nature to want more and want what other people have, especially because when it comes to money, most of us don't feel like we have enough or what we deserve. And because of that, they're super careful. They avoid talking about how much money they have or how much they make, not because they're ashamed, but because they value peace, privacy, and real relationships. When the topic of money comes up, you'll often hear them beat around the bush with phrases like, "we get by," or "we do well for ourselves," or the good old, "I can't complain." They keep things vague on purpose. They understand that oversharing creates comparison, and comparison creates tension. So instead of letting their money define them, they keep quiet. Because wealthy people don't just manage money, they manage perception. And in many cases, that discretion is what keeps them wealthy in the first place, because they don't want to be the first person that you call when you need help. And when you finally put this all together, a pattern starts to show. Real wealth isn't flashy, it isn't loud, and it usually doesn't look the way people expect. It shows up in discipline, patience, and calm, and intentional choices that most people overlook. And that's why so many wealthy people go unnoticed, because they're not trying to look rich, they're trying to be rich. They're focused on staying wealthy. And don't get me wrong, the goal isn't to copy someone else's lifestyle. It's to understand and learn why their habits are what they are. Because if you could recognize these signs in others, you could start to build them in your own life. And that's how real wealth is built, quietly and over time. As always, if you enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I reply to every single one. And the video YouTube is recommending is popping up right here on screen. And I'll see you in the next one.